Hi, I'm Jennifer from Shabby Fabrics. I have a fun block for you today. It's called the Curvy Log Cabin. Before I jump into that, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I hope you will. We have a lot coming and planned for you all throughout the rest of this year and much more to come. Free downloads are available on the Shabby Fabrics homepage. You can get that for this particular project. At the very bottom of the homepage, click on free downloads. You'll find the Curvy Log Cabin block instructions, as well as how to complete the quilt behind me, as well as lots of other projects. You can also click on the link below in the description box, and that will also take you to the download. So a log cabin block, as you know, it's been around in quilting for certainly longer than I've been alive, and it's one of the oldest blocks. This is a little bit of a variation on that, and the reason we call it a curvy log cabin is typically with a log cabin block, all of the logs, as we call them, are the same size. With the curvy log cabin, however, everything is built around the center, just as you would with any log cabin block, but the strips, the logs, on the one side of the center are a different size. These are 1.5 inches versus 2 inch. And it gives you this illusion of kind of this waving. So it's really fun. I'm excited to show that to you. This is the Arabella collection from Maywood Studio. I absolutely love this collection. It's beautiful, and the striking purples, greens, and creams. One of the things that I want to mention about log cabin is there's a couple different approaches to doing log cabin. Sometimes one of the approaches out there right now is you basically get your center square. I have that cut out here. And some people just sew a strip on longer than it needs to be, and then they just trim to be even with the center. And they keep adding the logs around the center, not pre-cutting the strips is what I'm getting at, to be specific lengths. They're just basically sewing maybe a strip this long and then trimming that. It's doable, but you will end up with your blocks being a little bit different sized, and they won't click together, sew together, and as precise of a way. And for that reason, I really recommend you go ahead and pre-cut your strips to exactly what they should be, and that will be, of course, in your download. What I like about that, and you have to have the discipline to not trim that if your logs end up being a little bit too long, is it keeps your blocks ending the same size. So think about that. If you pre-cut your strips to all be exactly the same size, and you sew all of your blocks together, they really almost can't be a different size. So it's going to lead you down a path of success, which I always like going down a path of success. Speaking of paths of success, using good tools will get you there. And the Creative Grids rulers, which I love this ruler in particular. This is a 6.5 by 12.5 inch ruler. And one of the things I love about this is everything that's in a white dot is a whole measurement, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up through 6 up to 12, and then number 12. Everything in black is a 1/2 inch measurement, starting with 1/2, 1.5, 2.5, and so on and so forth. I love that. It helps me be more accurate, and it keeps down the miscutting that does happen on occasion. This being our outer boundary, our last logs that we're putting on, some of the very last logs we're putting on here, one of the strips we have to cut is an 8-inch strip. We have to cut that, and we have to cut a 9.5 inch strip. So I want to show you how to go ahead and use this ruler, and why once I have my strips cut across the width of the fabric, and I certainly use my cutting mat for that, then the length of that log, I go ahead, and now the ruler is king. The ruler is what's guiding what I'm going to be doing here. So as I said before, the white dots are the whole numbers, and I've already squared this up. I've cleaned up my edge. So I will, for my 8-inch, I'm just going to lay that right there, and notice how I'm just guiding right along the top of my fabrics. There's no question that is an 8-inch strip, and I'll give that a cut. Now for my 9.5 inch, I'm going to turn around and take advantage of this really cool feature. See how that literally says, I don't know if you can see it on the overhead camera, 9.5. I don't have to guess. It is literally right there for me. Like, notice how I'm not even lined up on my cutting mat. I am exclusively at this point relying on the ruler, relying on this very, very accurate and handy to use ruler from Creative Grid. So 9.5 inches, I can't miss here. Versus if I'm on the other side of my ruler, or maybe with another type of ruler, I'm having to make sure that I'm at that. I'm having to kind of find that myself. I could be off, I could be under or over, or maybe I would be right on, I hope. But with here, I don't have to think. And I don't know about you, but I often quilt at night, and it's late, I'm tired, I'm not necessarily as sharp as I am in the morning when I'm well rested. This just helps me know without even having to think that I got that accurate. So I can't say enough about the ruler. Its accuracy keeps my strips exactly the size they're supposed to be. Of course, you're going to pre-cut all of your strips and have those all prepared and ready to go. Like I said, having them done ahead of time is going to lead you to success, which is what we all want. Keep in mind, because of the Curvy Log Cabin, some of the strips are cut to 1.5 and others cut to 2. Just be careful. I would recommend you cut all your 1.5 inch strips at one time and put those aside, and then go cut your 2 inch strips, all at the 2 inch wide strips all at the same time, so you don't miscut those to be the wrong widths. Starting with the very center, and we'll just refer to this block because it makes it so simple. So we're here. And this is coming on here to the left. In fact, I'm going to go like this. I want to look at this block like this. Let's look at it like this. Okay. So, as you would expect, right sides together, press to the outside. Then comes the side. So this will be laying about like that. And that comes together, and you'll have, this is what you'll have right here. So that's our center. Now, kind of following this around, we'll bring out another 2 pieces. Same story, right sides together, flip, right sides together, flip. And this is what we'll have at this point. And you will continue around in this fashion. Right? So as you already understand, the narrow strips are going onto this side and the wider strips are going here. So I'll just show you the progression as the block builds. Here, adding our layers, adding our layers. And then the final is here. The final strips are here. And then all 30 blocks are made exactly the same way. And then just how you orient them will give you that cascading look. And you can play around with that. I had a lot of fun with this as I would do things in different orientations that gave a different look. So this is just one idea, but you could of course mix and match your blocks and have a completely different look. So that's all there is to making the Curvy Log Cabin block with Shabby fabrics.